Hello! In this presentation, Michaela, myself, and Paige will be discussing the massive eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980.
Mount St. Helens volcano. Mount St. Helens is a stratovolcano that erupted May 18, 1980 in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest region. This volcano is located in the Cascade Range, which contains a subduction zone. This means that the oceanic crust and the continental crust collide. Why Mount St. Helens erupted? The Juan de Fuca oceanic plate goes underneath the North American continental plate. As the oceanic plate goes under the continental plate, it is shoved further down due to its density to increase temperatures. Part of the oceanic crust is then melted, releasing different substances that contain water and gases. These substances are then moved higher to the surface, soaking up rocks as it moves up towards the chambers where magma is stored. Then once an earthquake occurs, this stirs up all of the matter, causing the volcano to erupt. After many hundreds of earthquakes, on March 16, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted for the first time in over 100 years. The eruption made an approximately 250-foot crater, which continued to grow week by week. After more than 10,000 earthquakes that occurred between the eruption and May 17th, it was discovered that magma was swelling beneath the surface, causing the landmass of bulge to grow up to around 6.5 feet daily. On May 18, 1980, after a 5.1 magnitude earthquake that came very suddenly and was a surprise to everyone, the northern side of the volcano fell and slid off, causing the largest debris landslide that has ever been recorded in history. Once this northern side slid off, it caused a depressurized environment in the volcano due to the high pressure and very hot temperatures inside. Once this depressurization occurred, hot substances flew into the air at 300 miles per hour. This explosion caused the top of the volcano, the cone, to disintegrate. Some lessons learned after the eruption: scientists have now installed equipment like gas meters, cameras, and seismometers, and GPS systems to better help them be better prepared for another eruption and to learn more about volcanoes.
The human impact of the eruption. The eruption of Mount St. Helens killed 57 people. There were 8 bridges destroyed and 200 homes were destroyed or damaged. Some people living near the eruption suffered from PTSD. Debris dams also had to be built to help control sediment in the rivers. 30 logging trucks, 22 transport vehicles, and 39 rail cars were damaged or destroyed, along with 4.7 billion board feet of timber. Shipping had to be stopped on the Columbia River, leaving some vessels stranded. Falling ash stranded about 5,000 motorists, and the ash had to be cleared from runways and roadways. There is a cost to aid with natural disasters like volcano eruptions. This cost has an economic impact. The Toutle River was flooded, and about 12 million board feet of stockpiled lumber were swept into the river. From 1980 to 1990, 74 research projects were funded by the National Service Foundation at a total cost of just less than $5 million. The Mount St. Helens Visitor Center at Castle Rock cost $5.5 million to construct. Trails, roads in the park, and interpretive centers cost another $42.3 million. New highway and bridges from the Toutle River to Johnston Ridge cost $145 million. Facilities along the road will cost another $25 million.
The landscape went through a big change. Over several hundred square miles, there were multiple disturbance zones ranging from areas where everything lived to areas where everything was destroyed. Around 90 square miles of forest were wiped out and rivers made new paths. Old lakes were filled with debris, while over 100 new bodies of water were formed. Because the 1980 eruption happened in the spring, less wildlife and plants were affected than what would have been if it happened in the summer. A variety of aquatic life came to fill the new bodies of water. Living organisms adapted and survived, and dead organisms provided lots of nutrients for the area. This eruption showed that organisms can adapt and survive even after a major disturbance. I would say the effects of Mount St. Helens eruptions were regional. Helens was a tephra explosion.
Some interesting facts about Mount St. Helens include the landscape devastated by the eruption has evolved into a rich and diverse habitat for plants and animals. Also, during the 1980 to 1986 and the 2004 to 2008 eruptions, lava oozed onto the crater floor, building domes taller than the Empire State Building, and restoring 7% of the volume lost in the 1980 eruption. During the past 4,000 years, Mount St. Helens has erupted more frequently than any other volcano in the Cascade Ridge. And lastly, Mount St. Helens remains a world-famous natural laboratory for studying Earth's processes and nature's response to catastrophe.